Michael Brennan had built his career on trust. For 18 years, he had been the financial advisor that families recommended to their elderly parents, the professional that retirees turned to when they wanted someone trustworthy to manage their life savings. His office walls were covered with licenses and certifications. His smile was warm and reassuring, the kind that made nervous retirees feel safe handing over their retirement accounts. But what those trusting clients did not know was that Michael Brennan had perfected the art of stealing from people too old to understand complex financial statements and too trusting to question someone who asked about their grandchildren. Every handshake was a lie. Every promise of secure retirement was a cover for systematic theft. But here is what Michael Brennan forgot. Financial transactions leave digital trails that never disappear. And when elderly victims finally realize they have been robbed, their families will not rest until justice is served. What you are about to witness is not just a trial, it is the complete unmasking of a predator who weaponized trust against the most vulnerable. The moment when Michael Brennan realizes that his carefully constructed facade is collapsing will be absolutely devastating. So if you have watched this far, do not miss the end. Like the video and dive into the story, because this confrontation between calculated betrayal and unwavering justice will leave you speechless. It is Friday morning, 9 a.m. sharp, at the Providence Municipal Court. The courtroom is packed with elderly victims and their adult children, some holding file folders stuffed with bank statements. And there, at the defendant's table, sits Michael Brennan in a conservative suit, still playing the role of the trustworthy professional, even as criminal charges loom. The bailiff's voice cuts through the tense silence. The state of Rhode Island versus Michael Joseph Brennan. Judge Caprio looks down from his bench. Mr. Brennan, you stand accused of financial fraud, elder abuse, breach of fiduciary duty, and embezzlement totaling over $4.7 million from 32 elderly clients. How do you respond? Brennan stands with practiced composure. Your Honor, I believe these are tragic misunderstandings about investment performance. When we examine market volatility and investment risk, it will become clear that my clients experienced unfortunate losses, not theft. Judge Caprio's eyebrow raises. Unfortunate losses? Mr. Brennan, forensic accounting shows you systematically transferred funds from client accounts into accounts you controlled. That is not market volatility, that is theft. Brennan's tone remains reasonable. Your Honor, what appears to be unauthorized transfers were actually legitimate fee structures that every client agreed to in their contracts. Judge Caprio leans forward. Legitimate fee structures? Mr. Brennan, you charged some clients annual fees exceeding 40% of their account balances. You charged an 83-year-old widow with a $300,000 retirement account annual fees of $120,000. After 3 years, her entire life savings were gone. How is that standard practice? Brennan shifts slightly. Your Honor, clients with smaller accounts require proportionally more work to manage. Subscribe to Judge Stories if you believe financial advisors who prey on elderly clients deserve maximum punishment. Judge Caprio's voice sharpens. Mr. Brennan, let us review specific cases. Margaret Chen, age 79. She came to you in 2018 with $575,000 in retirement savings. Over 4 years, her account balance went to zero. Where did that money go? Brennan straightens. Your Honor, Mrs. Chen's portfolio was invested in high-growth opportunities that unfortunately underperformed during market downturns. Underperformed? Mr. Brennan, forensic accountants traced the funds. Mrs. Chen's money was transferred systematically into a shell company that you own. You stole $575,000 from a 79-year-old woman. Do you deny this? The color drains from Brennan's face. Your Honor, that shell company was a legitimate investment vehicle. Legitimate? Mr. Brennan, Mrs. Chen now lives with her daughter because she can no longer afford her own apartment. She survives on Social Security. We have bank records showing you used her money to purchase a boat, a timeshare, and luxury vacations. You spent it on yourself. Judge Caprio picks up another file. Robert Wilson, age 81. He worked as a teacher for 40 years and came to you with $400,000 in 2019. You convinced him to sign documents transferring full control of his accounts to you. Within 18 months, his entire retirement was gone. What happened? Brennan's voice becomes defensive. Mr. Wilson was developing cognitive decline. He needed someone to manage his finances before he made poor decisions. Protecting him. Mr. Brennan, you transferred his entire account into high-fee investment products that generated massive commissions for you. Forensic analysis shows 87% of Mr. Wilson's money went to fees and transfers to accounts you controlled. Only 13% was ever actually invested. You systematically looted his retirement while telling him his investments were performing poorly. Brennan's hands clench. I provided professional services that Mr. Wilson signed contracts to receive. Signed contracts? Mr. Brennan, Mr. Wilson was in early-stage dementia when he signed those documents. You exploited a vulnerable elderly man with diminished capacity and robbed him blind. Judge Caprio's tone grows colder. After you stole Mr. Wilson's retirement, his daughter called your office repeatedly. We have recordings of those calls. Let us listen to one. The courtroom falls silent as the audio begins. A woman's voice, strained with worry. Mr. Brennan, this is Jennifer Wilson. I am calling again about my father's account. Can you please explain what happened to his money? Brennan's recorded voice is smooth. Jennifer, unfortunately the market has been quite volatile. Your father's investments experienced significant losses. But Mr. Brennan, my father had $400,000 18 months ago. How could all of it be gone? These things happen in investing, Jennifer. Market downturns affect everyone. Why would you put an 81-year-old in aggressive growth investments? Your father wanted to maximize returns. I honored his wishes. My father has dementia. I need to see records of where every dollar went. I am bound by client confidentiality. I suggest you consult an attorney. The call ends. Judge Caprio's voice cuts through the silence. Mr. Brennan, you just heard yourself lie to a desperate daughter. You claimed market losses when you had stolen the money. You claimed confidentiality when you were covering up theft. How do you explain this? Brennan's face has gone pale. Your Honor, I was trying to maintain professional boundaries. Professional boundaries? You were obstructing a daughter's attempt to discover you had robbed her cognitively impaired father. That is criminal cover-up. Judge Caprio continues. Let us discuss the pattern. You specifically targeted elderly clients, built relationships based on trust, convinced them to give you full control, and then systematically drained those accounts. Investigators contacted every client you worked with. Of 87 total clients, 32 lost their entire retirement savings. 21 lost more than 50%. Only 9 had positive returns, and they were younger and more financially sophisticated. You targeted elderly clients who would not notice what you were doing. Brennan's shoulders slump. Your Honor, sometimes clients lose money. That does not make me a criminal. Your clients lost money directly to you. You lived a lifestyle funded entirely by stealing from elderly people who trusted you. Judge Caprio picks up another file. I want to tell you about Helen Martinez. She was 86 when she came to you in 2017. She had $250,000 saved from a lifetime as a nurse. She trusted you because her church group recommended you. You visited her home, met her family, attended church with her. You made her feel safe. Then you stole every dollar she had. Within 2 years, her account was empty. She lost her home and had to move into subsidized housing. She stopped buying medications because she could not afford them. Last year, Helen Martinez passed away. She died believing she had simply been unlucky with investments. She never knew you had stolen from her. How do you feel knowing Helen Martinez died poor and confused while you spent her money on luxury vacations? Tears streamed down Brennan's face. I never meant to hurt anyone. You never meant to hurt anyone. You built your entire business model around hurting people. You sought out elderly, trusting clients because they were easy to exploit. You charmed them, manipulated them, and robbed them. Brennan's voice breaks. I got in over my head financially. I made bad investments with my own money. I was trying to recover my losses. It spiraled out of control. It spiraled out of control. This was not momentary lapse. You stole from elderly clients systematically for 8 years. You created shell companies to hide theft. You lied to families. You destroyed evidence. Every step was calculated. Judge Caprio takes a deep breath. Michael Brennan, the evidence shows exactly what you are, a predator who weaponized trust against vulnerable elderly people. You destroyed retirements, bankrupted seniors, and stole financial security from people who spent lifetimes building savings. Brennan's face crumbles completely. Your Honor, please, I can make restitution. I will sell everything I own. I will work the rest of my life to pay back what I took. Just give me the chance to make this right. Make this right? Mr. Brennan, Helen Martinez is dead. Robert Wilson has advanced dementia. Margaret Chen is 83 and will never have time to rebuild. You cannot make this right. The damage is permanent. Judge Caprio's voice becomes firm. For financial fraud and embezzlement totaling $4.7 million, I am imposing a sentence of 12 years in federal prison. For elder abuse involving 32 victims, an additional 5 years. For breach of fiduciary duty, an additional 3 years. Your sentences will run consecutively for a total of 20 years in federal custody. The courtroom erupts. Brennan collapses into his chair. 20 years! Your Honor, I will be 68 when I get out. My life will be over. Your life will be over. You ended 32 people's financial lives. You destroyed retirements, bankrupted seniors, and stole security from people who had no way to rebuild. Now you will experience losing everything at an age when recovery is impossible. Additionally, you are ordered to pay full restitution of $4.7 million plus interest and penalties, totaling $7.3 million. All assets in your name are subject to immediate seizure. You are permanently barred from working in financial services, and you will serve your sentence in federal prison, where you will have 2 decades to reflect on the devastation you caused. Brennan shakes. Your Honor, $7.3 million. I do not have that much. I spent it. Judge Caprio's response is devastating. Then you will spend 20 years working prison jobs, making pennies per hour, while every dollar goes to your victims. You will leave prison at 68 with nothing, just like Margaret Chen and Robert Wilson and all the others you robbed. The bailiffs move forward. For the first time in 18 years, Michael Brennan is no longer a trusted financial advisor. He is just another convicted thief facing consequences. As handcuffs click around his wrists, the professional suit now looks like a disguise worn by a predator. Judge Caprio delivers his final words. Michael Brennan, you built your career on trust. Elderly people who worked their entire lives placed faith in you. They believed you would protect their financial security. Instead, you stole from them systematically while smiling and asking about their grandchildren. You exploited their trust, their vulnerability, and their limited understanding. Today, you learned what every victim already knows. betraying trust is not victimless. Every dollar you stole represented years of hard work and dreams of secure retirement. You destroyed those dreams for profit. Now you will spend 20 years understanding the true cost of that betrayal. Within hours, news of Brennan's conviction spreads. The receiver begins selling his assets for restitution. His home, boat, timeshare, everything is liquidated. Margaret Chen receives partial restitution. Robert Wilson's daughter sets up a trust for his care. Helen Martinez's family donates funds to elder abuse prevention in her memory. Sometimes the most important lesson about trust comes from watching someone who weaponized it against the vulnerable face full consequences. Michael Brennan walked into that courtroom believing his credentials would justify stealing from elderly clients. He walked out in handcuffs, headed to 20 years in federal prison, financially destroyed and permanently banned, where he will have 2 decades to reflect on the difference between being a trusted advisor and being a predator in a suit. If you enjoyed this story and believe financial advisors who prey on elderly clients deserve maximum punishment, please like and subscribe to this channel. Check out the other stories where we examine what happens when justice catches up with those who betrayed the trust of the most vulnerable. See you in the next video. Stay healthy.